from the Signature Bank Studios.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. We've been talking for a long time about the race that's ongoing to see which major urban center can disintegrate the fastest. Talking this morning. I mean, just even recently, I mean, between Eric Adams talking about the hiring illegal immigrants to be lifeguards because they're good swimmers.
Because they valiantly made it across the Rio Grande. I mean, how racist is that?
To Kim Foxx announcing her essentially plan to de facto eliminate otherwise lawful traffic stop searches and further denigrate public safety in Chicago, to Oakland. This is something. On East 12th Street in Oakland, report from the CBS affiliate there, stop signs are replacing traffic lights. So what you see on East 12th, it's really a jarring image. I mean, it really is sort of, just screams disintegration. Like a stanchion that you would expect a traffic light to be on in the middle of a busy intersection just has a stop sign that's 30 feet off the ground where a traffic light used to be. And here's why.
A drive on the busy East 12th Street, you'll come to this high-hanging stop sign above the road. Neighbors say city workers replaced the traffic lights with four-way stop signs in the last week.
It's just telling us that the city is giving up on us.
Courtesy of Google Earth, this was how the intersection looked before. But neighbors say those lights haven't worked in months. They were either blinking red or completely out.
This is a brand new solution to a problem that's taken many forms here.
Mason Young lives near the intersection. He believes the stop signs are better than non-working traffic lights, which he blamed for this crash that sent a truck into the fence of a repair shop.
We got to stop just putting Band-Aids on things, although, a Band-Aid's better than bleeding out.
The city did try to fix the traffic light at least a few times, but once they fix it, normally within a week or so, it will go out again.
Tamley owns the corner auto repair shop, been here for over 25 years. He and neighbors blame the problem on repeated copper thefts. Also, they point out homeless people are stealing power from city electrical boxes. As you can see, someone is running a wire from this box to an RV. A city spokesman says they try to put heavy cement blocks on top of the boxes, but people just drag them out. The city says when people illegally connected cables to the boxes, they knocked out the traffic lights.
If you really want to fix the stop sign, I think you really have to clean up this homeless encampment.
That's easier said than done. The encampment stretches about 3 blocks on East 12th Street. The city tried to clear it out for the past 5 years, but it keeps coming back and gets bigger.
Many businesses already closed down on East 12, and I don't know how long we're going to be here, because once they move to outside of the sidewalk, we will be gone.
How sad.
Well, it is, and it's sad to watch. And the play here is, as we've talked about, is, these are urban centers. Nobody wants to see them disintegrate into these decrepit no-go zones, but that's what's happening. And so it's an opportunity for not just the residents of the cities, but also the outlying suburban areas that rely on, to some extent, enjoy, at least used to enjoy, all that a big metropolitan area has to offer. And so is there a play in some of the, particularly in swing states, obviously Milwaukee, Wisconsin, for example, Charlotte, North Carolina, but even in the states that don't seem to be in play, to begin to expand the map by making the overt appeal to residents that are frustrated, metropolitan residents that are frustrated with what's happening to their larger metropolitan area, but who are not yet comfortable with the cures that have to be administered. They're still, they can't tolerate, this is they can't tolerate the ills, but they're not ready to embrace the cures. Maybe that's some of what Scott Presler is in town to do. Scott Presler is a grassroots organizer extraordinaire, conservative activist, and founder of the Early Vote Action PAC. He is going to be in the Windy City Wednesday to Sunday of this week. Scott Presler, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, good morning, y'all.
So tell us about Early Vote Action and why you would spend any time in Chicagoland, frankly.
Thank you. Well, I founded my organization, Early Vote Action, earlyvoteaction.com, in response to the 2022 election. We were supposed to have this big red tsunami that never materialized. You know, you have the crisis at the border. You have Putin invading Ukraine that we didn't have under President Trump. You got inflation. People can't afford anything. And life is so bad right now for so many people. And yet we only control a narrow majority in the House of Representatives, and we elected John Fetterman in Pennsylvania in 2022. And so I've come to the understanding that, look, we cannot just wait to vote on one singular day. When we have it snow on Election Day in Nevada, when we have Luzerne County, Pennsylvania run out of paper ballots on Election Day, and you have so many different things that can go wrong within 13 hours while the Democrats are voting for 50 days in states like Pennsylvania. And so I'm coming to Illinois and to Chicago in part because I think one thing that Republicans get wrong is we don't always do a great job of opening up our ears and shutting our traps. The black community is asking for Republicans to come to town because they are realizing that the black community is being that the illegal immigrant community here in our country is being prioritized over black Americans. And how dare the Democrat Party ever say Black Lives Matter when they're willing to put everyone else, they're willing to put Ukraine, they're willing to put every other person ahead of black, white, and brown American citizens. And so I'm using this as an opportunity to show the Republican Party gives a darn, and we are coming to break bread, to sit down, to listen, to teach people how to register voters, and ultimately, let's come up with some solutions to help make life better, and we're going to do it in no other place than the great city of Chicago.
Scott, don't you think the black community, too, though, feels more connected to Trump because of these frivolous trials that he's going through? I mean, I heard MSNBC sat down with a group of black Americans, female, male, and they all were like copacetic to what Trump is going through, saying, you know, now I know that this is a witch hunt and they're trying to take him down through the court system.
Well, good morning, Amy. And I'll tell you, I just shared a video of James Carville last night. It's a little dated, but he was just saying nothing that the Democrats are throwing at Trump is sticking. Mm-hmm. And in fact, these court cases, in my opinion, these witch hunts against the president are actually helping President Trump. And I don't know if you've seen what's happening, but oh my gosh, I want to give a shout out to Lou Valentino, who is this Puerto Rican in New York, and he's going around registering everyone to vote. And we have people registering that have never, ever voted. These are minorities. These are people that are now coming out. It's because of President Trump. The government is being weaponized against him. And then we have Sean, who's a Dominican. He's been going to tattoo parlors and barber shops, and he's been getting the entire Dominican community. And in fact, these kinds of people are going to be at the South Bronx rally in support of President Trump on Thursday of this next week. And so, and finally, this, I want to make it clear, has nothing to do with race. What I'm about to say, this has nothing to do with race. But I've been meeting a lot of former felons lately, like a lot. And don't ask me why, don't ask me how, but let me just tell you that the former felon community is coming over in support of President Trump in a way that we have never seen. And so I am making a play, especially for the formerly incarcerated community in places like Philadelphia, where if we get 25% of the vote, we win Pennsylvania, we win the White House, it is over. And so I want to make it clear that in this election cycle, the Republican Party is going to be courting every single gosh darn vote in order to save our country this November.
Now, are you working in concert with the Republican National Committee with your early vote plays?
Laura Trump just at the California GOP convention this weekend gave me a shout out on stage in front of everybody, talking about how our goals are the same, her organization and mine, earlyvoteaction.com, on helping to elect Republicans up and down the ballot this November.
So are you focused? I understand sort of the vision and the maybe medium-term play of your efforts in places like Chicago and New York City, but is the effort mainly focused on those metropolitan areas in swing states that we were talking about before you joined us?
Well, to anyone that doesn't know me, please go to my X account, otherwise known as Twitter, at Scott Presler, ScottPresler, and you'll see that while I am supporting grassroots activities like the Black community reaching out to Republicans in Chicago, like the attack against President Trump that is unfair while he's stuck in New York because of the gag order and actually having to be in New York. My organization is focused on Arizona, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. And to give you an idea of how serious I am, how invested I am now a first-time homeowner in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and I am moving my life and my livelihood just to Pennsylvania because I want to use the next 6 months of my life to not only help elect President Trump, but I want my vote to help carry him in the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, if that gives you an understanding of how I feel.
Great. Well, and so this, doing a better job with vote by mail and early vote programs. I mean, this is a huge gap that Republicans have to fill, or at least narrow, with the Democrats. So I mean, this is definitely center cut, and so give us a sense of your approach and how people can get involved with this, with your program, essentially.
Well, what we really need is, oh my gosh, the Democrats, they sent out a memo. The Democrats, they like to see that they're for democracy, whatever that means. And now they have put out a memo saying that they need to stop registering voters blindly, because they know that every voter that we register from now until November is tilt Donald Trump. And they realize that they could be unknowingly helping President Trump by registering voters. And so what I need is, 50 days prior to Election Day, mail-in ballots go out in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania if counties choose to do so. But it's what happens from now, right now, at this very second, up until those mail-in ballots go out, meaning we must register voters. We must register voters, and I'm going to get data today from Pennsylvania, and we're crushing it. We've added 150,000 Republican voters to the roll since 2020 in the great state 48. We're crushing it in Arizona. And North Carolina, we've dwindled the Democratic advantage from 2 years ago, cut in half. Even in Wisconsin, we are upping our voter registration games. In Pennsylvania, it went from 600,000 more Ds than Rs to today, it's under 400,000. Cut 200,000 off the voter rolls from the Democrats in just 2 years. We are making exceptional gains, but we cannot take our feet off the pedal. So if you want to help, I need you to go to earlyvoteaction.com, earlyvoteaction.com, and please either contribute your time, contribute your talent, contribute your resources, whatever you can do. And just know, when I go to places like Chicago, I am also cognizant and understanding of the work that we're doing with the Black community is going to help Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where we're having the RNC convention, by the way, is going to help Detroit, Michigan, is going to help St. Paul and the Twin Cities, Minnesota. By the way, we are also making a play for Minnesota, and Minnesota is trending to the right, is going to trend into Pittsburgh, Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, and is going to trend into Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So we need to focus on voter registration if we are going to win this election and bring the forgotten American people into the equation of saving our country.
Scott Presler, conservative activist extraordinaire. He's the founder of Early Vote Action PAC. So earlyvoteaction.com, right? That's the website?
Yes, earlyvoteaction.com.
All right, and he's coming to town on Wednesday. He'll be here from Wednesday to Sunday, so earlyvoteaction.com for all of those details. Scott, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy your time in Chicago.
Hey, thanks, y'all. You have a great day.
Thanks. You too. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Let's see. If something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is medicine.